Hey there, my name's Drew Brashler, and I want to show you the brand new Behringer WING Compact that Behringer just released. Now this thing is awesome, and I can't wait to show you this console, the Behringer WING Rack, and the Behringer WING full size in a black edition. Now those are going to be two other videos, but if you are brand new to my channel, I'm all about helping you feel more confident with your production gear no matter where you're starting from. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, this is the Behringer WING Compact, and as we can see, it is much smaller. Now, this video is going to go over all of the things about this console and the differences between this and the full size. And I'm going to show you about a bunch of really cool features inside of this console. Now, the main thing is it is smaller. It's smaller in width. It is a little bit higher. So this edge is about 3/4 of an inch higher than the original Wing full size. So that is one interesting thing. Our touchscreen is still the same, and our faders are still the same. The inputs are different, however. On the back of the Wing Compact, we have 24 Midas Pro Series inputs for our XLRs. And we have 8 Midas Pro Series XLR outputs. So we have our 24 in and 8 out. Now, the main difference between our Wing Compact and our Wing full size is that the Wing Compact has removed the 8 TRS line level inputs and 8 TRS line level outputs. But that's okay because most people that I see utilizing the Wing are utilizing the XLR ins and outs rather than utilizing the TRS line level ins. But the Behringer WING Compact does have our 24 Midas Pro Series inputs. Now, these are combo inputs. So if you do happen to have a TRS line level, you can just plug it into our combo jack because all of those 24 inputs are combo jacks. Now, if you are needing to utilize those 8 TRS line level outputs that the Behringer WING full size has, you will need to utilize a different form of outputs, either Stage Connect or AES50 with maybe a SD8, for instance. Now, the Behringer WING Compact has 13 faders, whereas the full size has 24 faders. So we can see that we have 12 main faders here for our channels, as well as a 1 fader for our right side in our master control section. Now, the 12 faders in the middle of the board are configured into a bunch more buttons than we had on the full size. So we can see that I have channels 1 through 12, 13 through 24, 25 through 36, 37 through 40, as well as our 8 auxiliary channels, which gets us up to our 48 channels. Now, again, these are mono, stereo, or mid-side channels. So every channel can be a mono, a stereo, or a mid-side processing on each of these channels, which is why we have so many input sources on the Behringer WING. Now, moving down, we have our bus masters, which gives us our 16 channels. Now, notice that there's 12 faders here, but I can arrow over with this +4 to get my 13 through 16, or go back. Now, our main and matrix gives us our 4 main buses and our 8 matrices, as well as our DCA layer, which gives us our 16 DCAs. Now, we also have user 1 and user 2. Now, what's really cool about the Behringer WING is that we can custom define a couple of our user layers. Now, the little secret about this is you can custom define every button, every layer that you want, and make your console as complex or crazy as you want to. Now, if I go to my user 1 and I press view, I can go to config, and I can custom assign channels into this. So for instance, I can go and select through all of my channels here to get my 12 channels, and I can just drag and drop this, and I now have my 12 channels. Now, if you press this arrow over, you have an additional 12 channels that you can move over to the right and kind of hide inside of the console. So I can go and now select my 13 through 24 and drag that down here. So at this point, we can have our user 1, and I can see that here's my 1 through 12, and I can arrow over. There's 13 through 16, and 17 through 20, and 21 through 24. So not only can I have a custom layer with my 12 channels, but I also have an additional 12 that I can move over to the right, maybe for some channels that you don't need to get to very frequently. Now, the other thing about our user layers is I can go and assign a channel right next to its bus send for my channel 1. For bus send 1, I can go to bus send 2 and assign my channel 1 for bus send 2 here. So we can see that I have my channel followed by my channel 1 bus send for bus 1, bus send for bus 2, and I could even go and put a DCA right next to it. So we can see that the customization of our user layers is insane. Now, moving over the right side, we have our bus, and so if I go and select bus and I press bus 1, it is going to send my console into a sends on fader mode, which means that now my master fader here is the master level of bus 1. So I can go ahead and turn that up to 0. And now I have all of my channels configured into my mix bus 1. So now I can go and do a monitor mix. So for instance, I can add a couple things. I can unmute and mix as I need to. And then I can do the same thing with bus 2. Turn that up and go and unmute a bunch of channels, give it a different mix. And when I am done, I can just press that again, and then it flips back into my main left-right mix. So again, to see that, we go to bus and we just go and select through our 16 buses that we have here. Now, if we move over to our DCA layer, here is my 16 DCAs that I have. So I can go and press any of my DCAs and it will pull up for the channels that are associated with that DCA. So for instance, if I go to my DCA layer, press view and go and assign a couple of the channels into this DCA, I can then press close. And then if I go back to my DCA, press 1, we can see that those 4 channels that were associated to this DCA pop right up. The next thing that we have is our main and matrix on our right-hand side. So we can see that I have my 4 main buses followed by my 8 matrices down here. Now, user layer allows us to do custom controls on these buttons and allow us to leave our main 1 fader here. So if we want to adjust this, we can go to setup, we can go to custom control edit, and I can go and assign things on here. So for instance, I could go pull up a channel page, maybe my channel 1 input. And then on the next one, I can do a scene change or a snippet, say, scene recall, scene 1. So now we can see that I can go and press this button and it would recall that specific page. Now we can also go in and assign this in a little bit better way. So I can not only assign a function, but I can also change the name. So I can go channel 1 input. And so we can see that now this says channel 1 input. Now we can also associate a color with it. So for instance, I can make this green and turn on the light, and we can see that this is now green. And so every time I press this button, it's always going to pull to my channel 1 input page. Now, this still does leave my main fader here available to us. So we can just jump between all of our main functions of the console on this right-hand section, and then be leaving all of our mixing on the main section of our 12 faders. Now, the input sources on the Behringer WING Compact are similar to the full size. So when we go into our routing and we go into our sources, we can see that we have our local ins 1 through 24. And again, these are the Midas Pro Series inputs. So all of the great sound that we get out of the Midas Pro Series is internal on the Behringer WING Compact, full size, and Behringer WING Rack. So we have our 24 inputs. We also have no aux ins, although this shows here. We then have our AES EBU inputs for our stereo AES EBU. We then have our 48 channels of AES 50A, B, and C. We then go to our USB audio, where we have a 48 by 48 input on our USB. We then have our expansion card. Now, the Behringer WING Compact, the Behringer WING Full Size, and the Behringer WING Rack all ship standard with the WING Live card, which allows you to record 64 channels of audio bidirectionally to dual SD cards. So you can put in 2 SD cards and record up to 64 channels or play back up to 64 channels on those 2 SD cards. Now there's also other expansion cards that you can install. For instance, on my console, I have the Wing Dante expansion card installed. And so on the back of my console, I have the Wing Dante card, so I can utilize that Wing Dante card for connecting to any devices on the Dante network up to 64 channels in and 64 channels out. Now we also have the internal module inside of our Behringer Wing. Now this is for all of the consoles. We have our Wing full size, Wing compact, and Wing rack. Now on my Wing compact, I have the Waves SoundGrid module, which Behringer and Waves just released. And so you can order your Behringer Wing with this card installed from the factory. And with this card, this allows you to integrate your Behringer Wing with Waves SoundGrid to do ultra fast processing with Waves plugins utilizing Waves SoundGrid and a Waves SoundGrid server. Now, the great thing about this module being inside of our Wing is that there's 2 network ports on the back of the Wing. Now, those network ports not only do the control for all of our software and apps for the Behringer Wing for being able to do monitor mixing from an iPhone or an iPad mixing, but it also does our audio module audio routing for the Waves SoundGrid network. So with that Waves SoundGrid card installed, my network ports on the back of my Wing not only do my control, but they also do my Waves SoundGrid audio processing. So I can go connect one of the ports to a Waves SoundGrid server, the other can port to a router or to a computer, and I can have an enclosed network here with a computer and a Waves SoundGrid server and my Wing. Now, I am so excited to bring you a bunch of videos on utilizing the Wing with the Waves SoundGrid servers and everything that there is that Waves has to offer. So I'm excited to bring you a bunch of videos about that. Now, in my opinion, this is my favorite setup for a Behringer Wing that I've ever had or seen. Not only do I have the Waves SoundGrid module, but I also have Dante, both of those 64 by 64 in and out. We also have our 24 XLR inputs on the back of the console. Those are all combo jacks and the Midas Pro Series circuitry. We also have 8 XLR outputs, our 3 AES 50 ports for being able to connect to any of our Midas or Behringer stage boxes. We have Stage Connect and we have AES EBU input and output. Now, this is a crazy amount of processing built into a very small compact console. Now, one great other feature that I want to mention is that there are 2 headphone jacks on the Behringer Wing Compact. One is in the original spot that was up here beneath this portion of the console, but then there is also a jack on the front of the Wing Compact that allows you to plug in headphones directly underneath your main fader section. There's a little 1/4-inch jack for being able to plug in your headphones there. Now, if you are interested in checking out the Wing Compact, there is a link in the description below to Behringer's site. I also have an affiliate link for Sweetwater and Guitar Center down in the description below if you are interested in purchasing one. Now, I hope this video was helpful for you today. If you do happen to have any questions on this Wing, other Wings, or any production equipment that's out there, please post that in the comment section down below, as I'm always reading through those comments to find videos that are going to be helpful for you. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my website at drewbrashler.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.